2015 version of our Pierre Governor Wrestling team, so let's give it to them. Last year I thought, wow, that was a great job last year. It really was. I mean, we went out to that tournament. I was going, that was nearly flawless. The coaches, said, we just really had a great tournament. Come back with a second place finish and did do a great job. And coming back this year, heading down with a daunting task with several very good teams in the state, and having to winning championships is all about performing on the big stage. And we had some teams falter, we took advantage of it, and that's what championships are made of. And these guys did a tremendous job of that, and I can't express how much that is. We got a team sport that's an individual sport, and yet guys out there battling as hard as they can for their team, for themselves, for their parents, for everything, their school. And the pressure that you watch and some kids crumble, and those guys wearing green or gray or green and black, whatever they were in on that particular night, just time and again came through in big situations, and it was an awesome thing to watch. And that kind of performance under those kind of conditions was nothing short of spectacular. And again, I'm extremely proud of you. Our community is extremely proud of you guys. It's just not something that happens all the time when you come into a situation like we did and overcome some odds and just perform as spectacular as we did. Again, guys, congratulations on a fantastic tournament and a great championship. In our send-off, I talked a little bit about, having not just a great team, but great tradition. And from the looks of that table, I'm guessing that looks a lot like great tradition to me. I'm not sure what you guys think, but that looks a lot like great tradition. And we've got seniors sitting here that don't know much else other than what's sitting there on that table, and that is insanely spectacular 4 years, and really longer than that, quite frankly, for the job that these guys and the coaches have done. And obviously we want to recognize Coach Calda is in Sioux Falls. His child had surgeries with his child, and we've got Coach Urick and Mr. Weeby helped out down there, and of course Coach Lewis, and I'm extremely proud of Coach Lewis. 2 years here, he's done an outstanding job as a head coach, and just the years we've had him here, folks, I think he's just really shown a great deal of composure as a coach, and a great deal of enthusiasm, and our wrestlers show up when they hit the mat, so let's give it up for our coaching staff. At this time, I'd like to have Mr. Paul Turman and come out and visit a little bit with you and give it a little perspective again from the school side. And obviously, Paul knows a lot more about his wrestling outfit than I do.
Thanks, Dan. On behalf of the school board, I just wanted to make a couple of comments about how well I think the team did here yesterday. All of our board members were emailing me over the weekend, either watching on video or trying to get updates or trying to follow things on track. And I think the nice thing is that before I said I'd come out here and talk, I asked Dan whether or not I needed a floor pass to take So I'll make sure I don't get kicked off the floor. overall, I mean, I think the fantastic thing about the sport of wrestling is the fact that as much as it's individual, each kid going out there trying to win it for themselves, what you find is, as a team, you can't bring home that team title if anybody really falters anywhere along the way. When you look at a gap as small as what you see between us and Aberdeen, and I would say the same thing with Roosevelt, you know, 1.5 points, it takes one match. One match goes their direction. They came back into that placing round, had two kids, very talented, ended up faltering. We had kids that ended up winning matches and getting a pin in a place that certainly puts us over the top. So I think I could go down the road and basically you can look at, and the nice thing about track wrestling nowadays is you can see exactly every point that every wrestler scores for the team. And while we had a couple of champions, we had some great kids get into the finals. All the way down, you look at a DJ Highbear needing to win a match to keep us in the lead. Because if they go into their heavyweight match only needing a major, I think that changes the outlook of how the tournament could have come out for us. So overall, I think when you look at a team as solid as what we have here, we can't continue to bring home hardware like this if we're not good from 106 the minute that kid hits the mat all the way up to our top kids too. So congratulations, guys. Great tournament. It was extremely fun to watch. Sit up in the stands and sometimes on the floor. trying to think through, so what's going to happen here? Who's going to win this match? How many points will that get to us? You know, I sit up there with Coach Noyes and Coach Kaiser, who have been through this process, and they understand how the points get scored. And right away, Mr. Kaiser said, we need 156. If we hit 156 and they win where we think they're gonna, then we should win this all. And the team did a great job coming back in that second afternoon. And really just taking advantage of it and winning where we needed to. So congratulations. Now to also give a round of applause to our state championship coach.
I guess I'm really kind of at a loss for words. Throughout a few interviews last night, throughout Quinn badgering me all night long, but what are you going to say to him? What are you going to say? You're in my head and getting me hugged, you're going to cry, aren't you? No, I'm not. I'm done. I'm all well now. I'm done crying. And my wife badgering me the whole way home. She's like, what are you going to say? What are you going to say? Well, I think you should say this. I think you should say this. And the more and more I thought about what I wanted to say, I don't have a lot to say. I mean, I've given these guys pep talks almost every single day. I said, here's your job, this is what you need to do. And they've done it. They've done each and everything this coaching staff has ever asked of them. Whether that's, you know, Tuesday mornings in the summer at 6 o'clock in the morning, whether that's lifting 3 days a week, you know, at 6 o'clock in the morning, doing conditioning, attending 4 camps that our youth program puts on, going to wrestling at summer tournaments, and giving 100% effort in the wrestling room. They've done all of that. And that's kind of what it boils down to is they haven't complained, they haven't faltered, they've done each and every single thing that we've asked, and obviously the results speak for themselves. And so the only thing I really have for you guys and what it boils down to is that from the bottom of my heart, I am so proud of each and every one of you right now. And obviously there's a lot of thank yous that go into this whole process. You know, first off, a big thank you for me is obviously our coaches that put in so much time and so much effort. You know, Coach called, as we said, can't be here. His daughter had surgery on Thursday, and then he attended the state tournament, and then got checkup appointments on Monday, so he couldn't be here. But obviously, you know, he's been here for the past 2 years as well, put in a ton of time and effort. You know, Coach Levy, he's been, you know, around Pierre governor wrestling for a really long time. He's put in, you know, a ton of hours, both with his kid and with each and every single kid up and down this lineup. Coach Eric, means a lot to this program. He's done a lot. Gets in when he can. He can't always put in the time that he would like to, but every single hour or minute that he does put in, he makes it well worth it. And we had a new addition to our coaching staff this year. Unfortunately, he can't be here because he's got a very demanding job. But Chris Blair has helped us out tremendously, and I can't thank these guys enough. Coach Whalen, obviously an athletic program that Pierre has been in the past years, not just in wrestling, but in multiple sports. It stems from the leader at the top. And that leader at the top has to set the example and set the standards. And so he's definitely done that, and he's got big shoes to fill. Next, of course, will be all the families. My wife in particular puts up with a lot of stuff. We've got 3 kids who are very ornery at times. Very rambunctious, very young, very youthful, and I love all of that energy, but then my wife also in her heart personally adopts 32 to 36 more kids. And she rides that roller coaster, and when you guys mess up, and then I come home and I'm mad that you messed up, and then she's mad that you messed up. Yeah, I'm serious about that. All the coaches' wives, the time that you allow these guys to be away from your families, it is something special, and it's a really long grind of the season for these guys physically and for all of our families. And we've got to be away. We've gone every Friday, Saturday. We come back late. Sundays, just let me sleep. And then sometimes we're gone for a day throughout the week as well. But our school administration, they're always at everything. And it's awesome to see that we've got that support from our school administration. Our booster club gives us a ton of money to do summer camp things. They feed these guys, occasionally throughout the year. Big thanks to them. And probably one of the biggest things that I need to give is, is the people that are in the stands here. The parents behind this whole thing. You guys got these kids started at a very young age. And most of you, you were their first coach. And that takes a lot. And then it's also, as you were their first coach, and then eventually, you take that role as you step back and then entrust them to us. The family setup that these guys have is amazing, and a big thank you to you parents. And then that goes for the rest of you guys that are in the stands as well. Every supporter that we have, I had more than a dozen coaches come up to me and just say how much that they're absolutely jealous of the following and the support and the family structure that it seems like that Pierre Governor Wrestling has. And I think that's one of the reasons why it's been so strong. We create that family atmosphere that everybody's got everybody's back, and they're caring and they're rooting for each and every single kid. It's hard not to find success in something like that. Other big things, Goodell Kaiser with the Capital Journal, done a really good job covering our sports this year. Brian Oakland's been the voice of Governor Wrestling on the radio in the great state tournament. Obviously, we'd like to, thank Paul Turman for a ton of pictures, although he did get his floor pass taken away. Paul still has that coaching role that sits deep in his heart, so he's very passionate about what goes on. And also this year, Tammy Luska's taken a ton of pictures. I thank her for the ones that were up there on the sending off, and I realized that I am balding even way more than I shave to try to hide it. Amy Williams, you guys post those all over Facebook and tag kids, and we appreciate that a ton. That exposure, that social media exposure that you guys give, posting those pictures. Paul Turman having basically live updating tweets, results, first names, last names, scores, matches is amazing. Chase Lateau got our Governor Facebook wrestling page started many years ago, and just does an absolutely great job of that. Took it over to the state tournament because I didn't want to have to touch that. And then one of the biggest things that I keep thinking about is this whole success stems from our youth program. And so there's, and I see a number of you guys, that are up in the stands that are coaches in our youth program or that help out, just volunteer a ton of time. We can't thank you enough as a high school coaching staff for the jobs that you do because of how well developed these kids are technically and mentally and match strategy, and they're so savvy in the sport of wrestling by the time we get them. It's it's easy. It's really easy to do our job, and a lot of the programs don't have that structure set up. They don't have that luxury, and that's one of the reasons why this, of course, this kind of stuff happens. But on to the real reason we're here, which is these guys. Big congratulations, like I said, to you guys and everything that you have done, throughout the year. Got second in ESD, got second at the region, but I'll tell everybody, they go ahead and have the ESD. They can have the region. We got the state. Will Turman is going to go ahead and stand up. I put a lot of pressure on this kid at the beginning of the year. I told him that he's absolutely got to be our firecracker. He's got to be the guy that starts us off, sets our tone. And I didn't know that he could put those comments in the paper and tell about all the undue pressure that I put upon him. But any person in here that wants to be our 6-pounder, you're going to get that speech. Okay? You've got to be the guy to light the fire and get the ball rolling. Because if this guy does the job, this guy feeds off it, this guy feeds off it, this guy feeds off it, and this guy did a tremendous job filling those shoes this year. Will Turman finished the year 44-2 and state championship. All right, our 113-pounder, Michael Lusk. Michael's a kid that just got after it. He's tough. I mean, we watched this kid at the exit tournament get 4 teeth knocked straight back in his mouth. And not only was he gushing blood from his mouth, and we're shoving paper towels in there, we're trying not to let him know that his teeth are pushed back, because Coach Urick's sitting there yanking on him, trying to pull him back forward. I thought he was going to bite his fingers off. I seriously thought that's what was going to happen. I stayed in the corner. Normally I'm doing blood. I had nothing to do with that. But then he guts out a match, that he's down in the match, and, comes back, takes the kid down, holds him down, rides him out. He's just an absolute tough kid, persevered throughout the year, working to get himself where he wanted to be, which is obviously in that state championship match. And, we did get second, but it is a huge accomplishment to get there, finishing the year 26-6. Thanks, Mike. Our 120-pounder, Austin Sanger, 35-11 on the year, finished with a 7th place finish. And I know that he's not exactly thrilled with how that finished, but I tell you what, when you have to take setbacks and you have to battle through that mentally, some people just flat out give up. And that's one thing I can say that this kid has never done. He's never gave up. He's so tough. He's always going out. He's so aggressive and he's looking for moves. He just did a great job, like I said, coming back. And I know that, he may be frustrated with this, but of course, he can't be, because his effort, much like everybody else's, is the reason why that trophy is sitting on the table. Because it would have only taken one match to give up or one match to falter and not have that confidence that would have meant the difference in colors of that trophy. So, thank you, Austin. 126, Jevin Keys, a man that needs no introduction. State championship on the year. This one, I felt was a little different because, he was pushing. Last year there was an excitement, there was a buzz, there was I'm trying to go and get one. This one was tougher. This one was tougher because the target was on the back. Everybody was coming with an A game every time that this guy wrestled, and he proved that he could still get it done. Finishing the year 45-3, and you guys saw his effort if you watched the state championship match. He had to ride a guy out for a solid 2 minutes and was still working and grinding. And it wasn't like last year where he came running over, big jump and hug. He was walking. This guy was and we appreciate everything this guy does. And to finish the year, he's got 99 career pins. He was one short of there are people who don't get to 99 or 100 career wins and have very successful careers, and this guy's got 99 pins. In the first match of the year, we're going to get number 100. Thanks, Jeff. 132, Eric Williams finished the year 32-16. Won and 2 at the state tournament, and I know, like I said, he's a little disappointed at his finish because his ultimate goals were to place very high. Very talented weight class. He's also a guy that put in more work than anybody will ever know throughout the season. And I just have to put the reminder is sometimes the success doesn't come right now. Sometimes things happen, life throws you a curveball, but that hard work will pay off. I know that you will continue to work hard and that great things are going to come out of this kid in the next 2 years. Thanks, Eric. 138, DJ Hyber. I've got nothing but smiles for this kid right now. Some people don't know, I'm going to clear the air with it. This guy wrestled on a torn ACL all year long. He tore his ACL in September. Not a lot of kids know. He came to me and he said, Coach, what do you think? And I said, well, A, you can have the surgery, that's where you and your parents and that's where you guys decide want to go. He's like, but I want to wrestle. I'm like, if you have the surgery, you're not going to be able to wrestle. That's a 6-month process. He goes, well, can I wait and have the surgery after the season? I said, I don't know. You got to talk to your family. You got to talk to your doctor. We cleared it with them, and he said, I'm wrestling, and I don't care. And that just goes to show the guts that this kid has. He's a 2-time state qualifier now for us, and he finally, broke through, won a match at the state tournament, and that match, of course, pays off because, as we said, with a 2-point margin, every single match counts. And you want to talk about being in a match, this kid wrestled J.D. Suter from Watertown, who's a state finalist and 4-time state place winner. And that match is tied with 1 minute left, in regulation. And, he did a great job for us all year long, continuing to build. Thank you, DJ. You can sit down, I'm skipping you. All right, 152, Lucas Stolberg. Lucas, again, another guy that we had an injury at the beginning of the year. He hurt his foot during football, and he just kept at it, and waited for his time. He finally gets back. We got about 2 weeks, 3 weeks left of the season. Gets a couple matches in, not probably with the gas tank that he wanted, but we got him through. And not only did we get him through, he got himself through. He finished the year 7-8 with those matches that he was in. We're against top quality kids. And 152, by some estimations, again, is another, absolute barn burner, tough bracket. And this guy got himself to an 8th place finish. And absolutely thank you for that. Thanks, Lucas. 160, Skylar Leisman. Again, another guy. Every single person up here won a match for us at the state tournament. Finished the year 24-26. And in my estimation, if we would have 2 more seconds on the clock or 15 more seconds on the clock, this guy would have came home with a medal because he had the West Central kid on his back. The ref swiped to 4, needs to get to 5 for the 1 more point to tie the match up to go into overtime. And I know what happens when this kid gets the kid on his back. They don't come off. He's so strong, got that absolute partner grip going on. Don't get off the back. He doesn't like it. There's no opportunity for it. So, we know that he's going to improve upon this next year. Thank you, Skylar. At 182, Spencer Serringer. Battling back for us, a little shoulder injury at the middle of the season, got to the point you really don't want to have it. It must be like a genetic thing, shoulders. So hopefully we can get that cleared up before it gets bad. But, he absolutely battled. 28-10 on the year. We got a 3rd place finish. And his pins coming back in those wrestlebacks were absolutely huge for keeping us and our momentum going when everything, it seemed like, was starting to go Aberdeen's way. And with those pins, we just kept telling him, nope, you're not coming. Nope, you're not coming. And this guy kept shutting the door on him every single time. Thank you, Spencer. 195, Quinn Reimers. You know, this guy gets at it, and I tell you what, in practice, if you don't watch it and duck every now and then, you get clubbed. I know that from experience. And if you watch Vidal's little YouTube video or whatever on Facebook, you see some of that. But you know, it's 40-7 on the year, and I think of those 7 losses, 4 of those were to Mueller. Yeah, the other 2 of those were basic dirt, but sorry, basic, we don't care. We got you in the semis. Okay, got ourselves into the finals. You know, Quinn, I just can't say enough. He's, you know, big, strong kid, absolutely gets after it. Just, you know, has a sweet ankle pick. Not many people can stop. With the runner-up finish, finished out a great season, helping us get that trophy. Doing the heavyweight for us, Levi Stolberg, you know, granted he didn't qualify for the state tournament for us, you know, just absolutely would push that margin huger if he did, but I mean, I think back to East-West schools, I think back to rookie school, I mean, I can count, I don't know how many different places that this guy is a top performer, belonged at the state tournament, I counted the bracket up, pinned 7 kids that were in the state tournament, so any other region, we're qualifying as a breeze, our region, tough. But we've got 2 more years for this guy to come and get some hard work for himself, so thank you, Levi. All right, now our seniors, if all 3 of you guys can stand up. I mean, Coach Whaler talked about it a minute ago. I mean, look at this. We're probably more than about half an hour ago, I'm rambling. But this table over here is full. I mean, you guys get 4 years in high school, and their 4 years in high school is up there. And then Snyder and I were talking last night, and Trace is in the same conversation. They've got a football one up there that these guys have worked hard for as well. And to have that kind of performance from this senior class it's amazing. I mean, it's matched by none other. I had a referee come up to me this morning, and he's like, gosh, what you guys are doing is amazing. And I was like, okay, we continue to talk, because this guy normally is a pretty good talker. He's booed at the state tournament every year, so. He's like, I'm amazed at your wrestling. He's like, just to kind of give you a clue of, you know, what your seniors have accomplished and what kind of feat that this is. He's like, now peer wrestling is in the conversation with, you know, the Mitchell teams of the 90s, who are known as some of the best teams in state history, and the Sturgis teams of the early 2000s. And I said, well, thank you. And he's like, no, wait a second. He's like, not only do you have these, he's like, why do I understand, it's not slowing down. He's like, so we'll see where the rest of that conversation goes. But you 3 guys have absolutely helped build what it is that's going on and done all 4 of those trophies. Trey Scott, you know, got in there at 220. We made the jump down to 220. Some people go up, we go down. Went down to 220. Finished the year 19 and 18 in the 6th place finish. And you know, where I saw the turnaround for Trace in his year was that Yankton invite. When Coach Urick told him that he needs to stop waving at his mom while he's taking a shot, and he never got thrown to his back again. And from that point on, he did an absolute great job. I mean, you were talking about the effort that this guy gave at the state tournament. I was on the edge of my seat half the time. I couldn't even sit in that corner of the seat because he makes me nervous all the time. And I'm pretty sure he makes his dad nervous all the time. So we appreciate that. And with a 6th place finish and you helping your team like you did, Trace, thank you. At 170, Dawson Montfort, 37-6 on the year. You know, a 2nd place finish. And this guy's been in the finals 3 times. I mean, he's had one of the best governor wrestling careers that you can about imagine, being in the finals. I know that he's going to say that it hurts coming up short every year, but when you're sitting back and reflecting like I was in the finals 3 times, I mean, there's a whole body of work that goes into just being there, not always the end result. And I got to see the process of him being there for all 3 of those. and he's given me the only bloody nose that I've ever had in my wrestling career, which has been fairly long now. And normally we got to get this guy up on the bed because he's the last person on the bus. Is everybody here? I don't know where's Dawson. I mean, we're 5 minutes late, but senior year state wrestling tournament, he's the first person on the bus and the first person to give the managers as much crap as you would even possibly believe about being 1 minute late to get on the bus. But, you know, Dawson, you've been a huge part of, you know, every single thing that's gone up there, and, you know, Governor Wrestling Forever, of course, has to thank you. And Snyder at 145, 23 and 18 on the year, you know, with an 8th place finish. Just what this guy did this year with his effort and his attitude and what he did in the room, you know, was great. He gave us everything he had all the time. And we always try to make fun of the senior a little bit with a story, but the only thing that I've got, I mean, you guys can all see it with the old pomade thing in his hair. This guy's hair is going all the time. It doesn't matter if we're going to weigh-ins or what it's straight up slick. Thank goodness we got to cut it before the last 4 people that, of course, that need to be thanked are our managers, and specifically, you know, Allie Hedman, we're going to miss one. She's got big shoes to fill. She's done a lot. She bakes cookies. This girl brings Mountain Dews for the coaches, peanut M&Ms. She is definitely our mother hen, and we appreciate those efforts. And you know, Gracie came on this year, and hopefully Gracie can learn to bake cookies and find out. You know, David Dorfner, she is so computer savvy and does all these guys huddle and stats and Sierra, is your nose okay, Sierra? Sierra got punched in the nose as Dawson came off, excited after the semifinals match, so I checked that her nose was okay. You know, these girls, they do an awesome job day after day. They got pink whistles up in the wrestling room, and they blow the whistles, they keep time, because us coaches can't just sit there and coach. We got to get in and wrestle with these guys because we're so excited and love it so much. But, you know, thank you, 4 girls, for everything you've done. The last thing that I want to say, so I can, of course, get you all out of here, is the more I sat and thought about this, I mean, there's reasons that this stuff is going on. And they're not a secret to anybody that's, of course, sitting in here. It's the family atmosphere, I mean, that's been created. These guys take care of each other, you know, like brothers. They fight in the wrestling room like brothers. They argue every single trip you go to on the bus like brothers. They sleep together every single weekend in these hotel rooms, and then they go sit in each other's corner, and they're the biggest cheerleaders for everyone else. You know, our youth club, like I said, is huge. The fan support, there is no other sea of green anywhere. I mean, like we have at the state tournament. Amazing parents, the selfless giving of the time and talents of so many people, coaches here, youth coaches, moms and dads. I mean, you guys traveled everything. And, you know, lastly, it's these kids who are up here that absolutely are willing to work hard and want to win, but not only want to win, but want to do it the right way. And that's what these guys did. You know, they kept building each and every single tournament all year long. And finally, we said, we're going to peak. And this team peaked at the right time. And they peaked better than anybody else at the state tournament. And that's why they brought home the trophy. Again, congratulations. I'm so proud of you guys. Amazing season.
Okay, I get to make the cake announcement. Cake in the cafeteria for everybody. Go out there, socialize, and visit with all these folks and wrestlers and coaches. And thank you all